I'll say good morning because it's morning here. So good morning. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cooking with Pouncy. If it's your first time, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you just stumble upon this channel, please stumble back. Let me know what you think as well. And do hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. So anyway, guys, we're going to do, starting out today with all the cooking I've got to do yet today, but some collard greens. I did a collard green video not too long ago, and I didn't like it. The meat I used in it was good, but it was not what I liked. So anyway, I'm going to do it again today, and I'll be dropping the camera down here in a little bit to show you how I'm going to put these collard greens together today. Okay, guys, here we go. What I've got here is, this is one bag, but I've got two bags of these Glory pre-washed collard greens, and I've used them many times before. Perhaps you guys have as well. And again, they've been completely washed. And one of the things I will do here, though, and I'll show you that on my little sheet pan here, is to put them on there, which is what I'm going to do, and just go through them and make sure there aren't any foreign objects or things I can't identify in there, which I've done before as well, and I recommend you do that too. One of the things I'll mention here too, though, there's a lot of stems in here, and guys, I'm telling you, that's okay. There's a lot of fiber, I think, in those things, and so we don't have to worry about picking through the stems. You do have to go through them, like I'm seeing here now, for any foreign objects, and I mean discoloration or something like that from some of the leaves. All right, I'm going to be using some salt here for flavor. I've got some coarse ground black pepper as well that I'll be putting in there. I've also got some red pepper flakes I'll be using as well. Just a smidget. I don't know where that word came from, but just a smidget of red pepper flakes I'll be using as well. I'll be using a touch of garlic as well, and that'll be just to taste. I don't know what your taste is, but just you'll see how I do it. But just a little shake, and that'll be enough of that. I'll also put perhaps a half of an onion. This happens to be a Vidalia onion that I'm going to dice up, and I'll show you that in a little bit as well. Last evening I cooked off two pork shanks, smoked pork shanks. The last time I made it with some meat that I had that was for pulled pork or something, and I didn't like it. But anyway, so these are hefty pork shanks. I'm going to be boning these out in a second. I'll show you that process as well. So that's what I'm going to use for the meat today for these greens. All right. And see if I miss. I won't be putting both of these in there. There's a lot of meat on those things, and you don't want to overpower your greens with meat, or I don't want to overpower Cooking with Pouncy'S greens with meat. So I'm going to be perhaps using just one of those ham shanks in here as I dice those up and add them to the greens here. I'm going to also use some chicken stock for my liquid in there. Yes, I use chicken stock, and perhaps some of you do too as well. That wasn't easy to say. A little bit of chicken stock will be going in there too. The drippings I had last evening, and I might add, the pork shanks cooked for 2 hours, and they were pretty hefty sized pork shanks. But I got them fork tender, which means when I stuck my fork in, and it did pull right out, and so they should be very tender. They're also going to cook a bit more in the greens when I put them into the greens. All right. So I'm not missing. So the drippings then from the pork shanks that I did last evening is right here. I had two of these containers. I won't be using all of this. There's a lot of fat in here. I won't be putting all of that. Now you see that. This is fat on the top of it here. As you know too, those of you who have cooked off pork shanks and pork hocks and stuff like that, you get kind of a jellied, almost a consomme, for those you guys who know what consomme is. You get kind of a consomme mixture here, and I don't want that. I want some chicken stock, and I'm going to use some of that for the flavor as well. All right, but I'll be skimming that fat off the top of it. Maybe you can see that. I'll be skimming the heavy duty fat off the top, and then again the rest of it will be that chicken stock. I also will use, and don't throw cans at me, I'm going to use just a little tad of sugar. Will not sweeten these greens. I'm just going to go shake, and that's going to be it for the sugar. In case you're wondering what that is, that's a Tupperware container, which tells you how long that's been around. Outside of that, guys, that's going to be about it. I'm gonna change my gloves here because I've been touching everything. So here we go with the greens now. I'm going to, again, like I said, I'm going to sort through here, looking for anything I don't like that's in here. And sometimes you do. You find discoloration on some of the leaves. you find just stuff that don't look like it's supposed to be in there. It's not a big deal. Like I said, you just take it out and leave those stems alone. Those stems are good for you. See, some of them, as the stems are still attached to the leaves, and that's fine. It really, really is. They're going to tender up. One of the other things I'm not going to do is overcook these greens. I've seen lots of applications where they wind up just like greens in a can, and you guys know what they are like. They're very, very soft, mushy as well. But I'm going to be doing these here. Certainly not to el dente, but they're going to be nice and tender. I don't see any foreign objects in here, guys. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I've already put one of the 1 pound bags of Glory pre-washed greens in the pot, in the 8-quart kettle I've got over here. And I'll just going to take this. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do though, guys. I'm going to put about 1/4 of these in here. As you see, that pot's getting pretty full already. Because it's going to cook down as it's starting to cook, and it'll cook down really quick. And then I'll put the rest of them in here so as to, when I'm stirring it here, I'm not spilling them over the top of the thing in the range because I've got too many in there. But I'll be adding more of these in there as this starts to cook down, and that process won't take long at all. All right. So that's going to be sitting there. I'm going to move these over, and I'm going to bone these out right now, and get ready for my meat to go in there, and I'm going to dice my onion as well, all right? So, for the sake of, let's get that done, I think I'm going to just do that, reach in here and grab one of these bones and pull it out. And I think I might just bone out one of them right now because I got to get this done pretty quick. But I'm going to start off with the greens, and I've got one of the packages, as you saw, already in there. As you see here, and I'll hold it up for you. Here's that half of an onion that I talked about earlier that I diced up, and here's that one. It's a good size pork shank that I'm using in here as well. It's starting to sizzle. I got to keep going here now. I've got 1 cup of that liquid I told you about that came from this pork shank. I'm going to start with just that 1 cup, and as you guys know, it's going to be 2 pounds of greens, and it really doesn't, I'm going to go ahead and put this in there, it really doesn't take that much liquid because these greens are hugely, contain water, 70%, even higher, I guess. I didn't look it up, but it's very high water content, so that's why you don't have to use that much liquid. I've got that in there, and what I'm going to do now is start sprinkling in my red pepper flakes, and that's it right there. Well, I said earlier to taste. I don't know what your taste is. Again, garlic salt, same thing. Not a whole lot. Okay. And some regular salt. And you got to be careful because these greens are really going to cook down, way down. And you can't put too much salt and all that other stuff in there because you're only going to have about that much liquid in that thing. And so now you don't want to over season that liquid. The shanks are very salty as well. So anyway, naturally salty because of the way the smoke process. So a little black pepper, coarse ground. I don't know why you got to put black pepper in greens, but it makes it taste good too, I guess. So we got that, and I got my chicken stock, which is what I'm going to pour in here as well. And again, I could have poured all that liquid, and I might wind up pouring it all in here too, the rest of that cup. All right. So I'm going to put about another 1/4 of a cup of this chicken stock in here. And let's go ahead with some more of this. Now I'm going to use the rest of it. Let's put the rest of this in here. All right. And when you're using glass, which is what this is, around this metal, make sure you don't cling this glass against the side of that metal. I hear a lot of that when I'm watching videos. Cling, 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 cling. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope that doesn't break. But anyway, you know what I mean, guys, so be careful. I'm talking these greens, as I mentioned earlier, they've already gone down about a fourth of this pot. I'm going to put the rest of them in here now because they're cooking down. And as you guys know, they do cook down really fast. So let's go ahead and put this in there. And I put that other seasoning on there so I could kind of wash it down with the liquid that I poured in there as well. And let's get the rest of these in here. Thusly, I didn't spend this much time on the last batch of greens I made, and I didn't like what I did there. So it didn't often I don't like what I do, but sometimes I just do stuff and I don't know why. But there you are. So let's put that there. And I think I've got everything I'm going to put in there for now. And I'll be adding more seasoning later. I'm going to do my seasoning as in salt and pepper as needed. So I'm going to go ahead and put my onions in here. All right, and all this good meat here in there. And as it cooks down and all those flavors start to meld together, I think we're going to have a pretty nice pot of greens here. And again, guys, there's many ways to do this. Many ways to do this, and I'm just kind of getting it shaken up here a little bit so it'll all blend together. As you know, I got my heat now on high because I want it on high. I want it to start cooking as these greens start to cook down. All right. Okay. I'm going to put a lid on here now, and the next time I look at it, and I might jump to the end of the process by telling you too, I won't be cooking these over, over 50 minutes, 50. I've seen these things cook for 2 hours, and that's not necessary. We don't want canned greens. We want greens from scratch. All right. So we got them covered. They're right now at high. I think I'm going to turn them down a little bit because they'll be cooking. I'm going to go medium high here. I don't want them to cook too fast, and I am going to let them simmer. All right. So we'll be looking at those things off and on, trying to going slow to see if I've missed anything here. But I will be adding more liquid as well, probably chicken based to this again. All right. So anyway, I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll take a look at them, and let's see what they look like right now. And as you can see, they're cooking down right now as we speak. Next time you see it, it'll probably be right there. That'll be just in a few minutes from now too. Okay. I had to come back, guys, because I forgot the sugar. All right, watch this. Now watch this. That's it. That is it. I'm about 5 minutes into the cook here. That's real time. And as you can see here, I'll show you a second here. They're cooking down really nice now. They're down about a half a pot here as we started all the way on the top. And you guys know what they do when they start cooking. Cabbage does the same thing. So anyway, they're going about their business, doing their thing. I've stirred them again. And again, you have to watch that seasoning because there's about 2.5 cups of liquid in here. There's 2 cups of the drippings from the pork shanks. And I've got another half a cup of chicken broth in here. And I'm going to hold with that for now, although I'm pretty sure I'm going to add some more liquid here in a little bit. As you can see, you got liquid in there. I'm not going to tilt it too far. But I'm going to let them cook down slowly now. I'm turning my heat down to medium. And I'm going to let them simmer. And again, guys, I'm not going to cook these over 50 minutes. As I don't want them to go to mush, and they won't. And they won't be al dente either. So they have it. We're going to leave those go, and again, back in real time, I'll let you see them again a little bit. They are really looking good. I think they're sounding good. You can probably hear that. Now, tip it up a little bit for you there. They're about right here, right now, in volume in the pot. Right now, I've got 3.5 cups of liquid in here. 2 cups being the drippings from the pork shanks, and the liquid from the pork shanks, liquid from the pork shanks, and then the other 1.5 cups is the chicken stock. Okay, so there they are, and they're really got a nice rolling boil going there. High simmer, I guess you say, is boiling. And I'm going to cover them again. I almost said recover. I'm going to cover them again and just let them do their thing. I set my timer for, I think I set it for 45 minutes. I think I'm going for a total of 50 minutes, 5 cook time, and I'll check that for tenderness at that point. Well, guys, I'll let you see them a little bit here. I just stirred them. I put a little bit more salt in, and again, that salt and pepper and the rest of the stuff is to taste. I thought it needed a little bit more salt, and I just put about another quarter of a teaspoon of salt in here. Still got a nice simmer going there. That's what they look like now. They're looking really, really good. And got just enough liquid in there, as you can see, to cover the greens. I don't know that I needed, half a pot of liquid and the greens are floating in the liquid. I don't know that you put that liquid on your rice or your potatoes anyway. And I usually just have enough liquid in there and keep enough liquid in there just to cover the greens as they do their thing. All right. I've got about 4 minutes to go on this cook, and I just tasted these delicious, delectable greens. And I think, guys, that these are actually about ready, even within that 4-minute period. I'm going to take this stem, if you will, and we're going to check that for. I just tasted it off camera. Little bit of a crunch on. That's okay. That's fine. No, that's perfect. So I'm going to shut these down even before my 4-minute mark, my last 4-minute mark, I should say, of my 40 to 45-minute cook. And these greens are ready. Don't want to cook them any more than that. There's going to be some reheating along the way as I package these things up. I'm going to be distributing these today yet to someone that wanted some greens. So my point is, through the reheating process, you're going to be cooking them a little more too. I'm going to shut them off right now because they are perfect. That one stem, and it was kind of a thick stem, was a little bit crunchy, and that's okay. That's fine. Let's just leave it at that. I'm going to individually portion these out here. Like I said, I'm going to be distributing these yet today. These wonderful, luscious greens. They turned out really, really well. You saw the end result as I tilted the pot forward. Got lots of liquid in there. I got to drop the camera so you can see that. But anyway, I'm going to be individually putting this in these containers here. I'm just going to dish of them for you to see what they look like. They look really, really good. They're nice and tender, like I said. They very flavorful, and you season them to your taste. The meat ratio is perfect, I think, with that one ham shank that I put in there. And I don't know whether you can really see that, guys, but it looks really, really good. Very tasty. We get some of that pepper vinegar, I think it is, that my wife likes on hers. And it just makes these things very, 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 very good. I think if you like these, make them for your family. And we certainly hope that you do. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cooking with Pouncy. I've enjoyed this, and I've got lots more cooking to do yet today. So I'm going to ring off here, guys, and I'm asking if you would please to share this video, hit that like button if you like what you see, and let me know as well